Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Professor Joy podcast. Join us on YouTube and all the social medias. Find our videos on YouTube and
Instagram, Facebook.
We are all over social media. We hope you're enjoying these podcasts, and I'd love to hear from you if you happen to catch one of them. Let us know what you think of us. And don't forget our app, for goodness sakes, the Joy Score app. You would benefit from the use of the Joy Score app. As always, we have Professor Joy.
Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you. I'm very, very happy, actually.
That's good. It's always good to hear. And Steffi.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you as well. And my name is Gary Metzger. I'm a professor of journalism at Cal State Long Beach. So I gave Professor Joy and Steffi a little hint about today. And it was one word. It was a one-word clue: habituation. And don't go rushing to Google and ask what habituation is, because I'll tell you what it is right now. It's the tendency of neurons to fire less and less in response to things that are constant. And so that brings up the topic for today, which is your life is better than you think. Your life is better than you think. Okay? And this is based on an article by Tali Sharot and Cass Sunstein. It was featured in Time magazine as an opinion piece. Sharot is a professor of cognitive neuroscience at University College London. And Sunstein is an American legal scholar who was the administrator of the White House Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs in the Obama administration.
Wow.
So the basic overarching theme of their opinion piece is there is always this constant human desire to make life better. But in reality, many of our lives are already better than we recognize. And we know that we have a loving family. We have a good place to live. We have a decent job. And we fail to notice those things because we do them every single day. And it becomes a routine that we just don't notice. It's almost like when you get some roses. And at the very beginning, the aroma, you smell the roses all the time. And then after an hour or two or three, you kind of forgot about that great aroma that the roses were giving off because you've been in the room and it's become regular to you. So it's because of habituation, this thing in our brain that makes us take a look at everything as being routine. Like the front page of a daily newspaper, and Professor Joy, you and I still enjoy our daily newspapers a lot. Your brain cares about what has happened recently, not about what stays the same. And so once what took your breath away, now all of a sudden becomes routine. And you fail to notice and respond to the elements of your life that you once found enchanting. The good news is, according to this article, is that you can dishabituate, that you can start perceiving and responding to things that you once became desensitized to. And I think a lot of that can relate to our app. I think our Joy Score app can help people dishabituate. We help people to learn new things that they can incorporate into their life.
So when you say that, so you use the smell of roses as an example.
Yes.
So I know that dishabituation is a way of bringing new cool things into your life. But is there a way to kind of still appreciate the roses, I guess? Like,
You know,
Great question.
this is so interesting because I was just thinking maybe about 30 years ago, a friend of mine asked me, do I count my blessings? I said, not really. He said, try it. So then I started, end of the day, every day, just sit down with a notebook and start writing the blessings of the day. And it kind of did few things. Number one, it truly allowed me to feel that my life is much better than I think it is. Because why are there so many blessings every day? And you know, it's like old saying, glass half empty or half full, you know. So I slowly became more and more aware of the blessings, the positive things which were happening, and less involved in thinking of all the negative stuff. So your roses example, or it's like, I think there's so many roses every day we get. We just don't recognize that they do come to us. So this concept of blessings and writing it down actually changed my life.
wow.
It made me so positive and so happy that I couldn't believe that my life is so good.
So your life is better than you think.
Oh yeah.
And
And, you know,
you
the-
get
not
that
on-
affirmation every day.
And not only that, then the other thing I realized that even at the worst level, or whatever it is still better than maybe 7.5 billion people. You know? Because I don't know if I told you about this OPM program at Harvard Business School. When I had all these companies, someone said, hey, you know, you haven't really taken any business classes or program. I said, no, I haven't. He said, I think you do need, you got 9 companies now. You better understand what business is like to run, you know. So I signed up for this 3-year program at Harvard Business School, executive program called OPM. And then they made us analyze our lives and what percentile of the U.S. population we were in, you know. And they said that the Harvard Business school graduates were between top 3 to top 0.1%. So they give you criteria, you outline everything, and you give yourself points for everything, and then you determine where you are. So I was at 0.1, which is the highest you could be. And I said, that doesn't make sense because I'm not that smart. How does that happen? You know, I mean, and I'm not that wealthy either, you know. So, I mean, combination of it is what it came out to be. But, you know, one thing I realize, because looking at all the other people in my program, that I was the happiest. And I was maybe the only one who was counting blessings every day, you know.
Do you think that was the key?
Yeah.
Is that why you were happiest?
Yeah.
Because you,
Because it
among
made
others,
me
you were counting
realize that
blessings.
how happy, lucky, fortunate I was to be where I am. And you know, it's like, and this is something I learned when I was a teenager. And there was a little fight I had with my brother, who's 2 years older. And I was so upset with him, I wanted to kill him. My dad found out and she said, don't do that. I said,
Good advice.
yes. I said, what should I do? He said, do something nice to him. I said, are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? I want to kill him. And you're telling me to do something nice to him? I said, why? He said, well, listen, what goes around comes around. I said, you mean if I kill him, something may come around and kill me? He said, yeah, you never know. So from there on, I became a positive person. I just said, if I can do something nice to someone, that's what I want to do, not
Right.
something bad to someone. And that changed my life, So I always look for positive, happy, good things, blessings. And so that attitude changes your life. You remember Dennis was talking about attitude of gratitude?
Yes.
My life became where I had everyday attitude of gratitude. I just didn't know any other way to look at things.
Right.
Did your brother take your lead and start doing nice things for you?
I
as
think
well?
so,
Nice.
because he realized, and that was such a nice thing my father told me to do.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you're trying to kill somebody, and someone is giving you a total opposite of it. Say, hey, go do something nice to him. Say, are you kidding me?
It's like the saying, you kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You
Yeah.
kill them with kindness.
Exactly. I mean, how would I have learned that without experiencing that?
Exactly.
It kind of took me from one extreme to another extreme,
Absolutely.
And these are the things, these are little things in your life which change your life sometimes.
And these are the things we can learn from the Joy Score app as well.
Absolutely. In fact, Joy Score is, sometimes I look back and think about it, it's kind of an emulation of my own life, I mean, everything that I've learned, experienced, I just try to bring it in Joy Score
Exactly.
and share it with others so they can learn from it.
Well, but Professor Joy, isn't that what we do as academicians? We take our experiences
Absolutely.
in an industry, in our life experiences, and we share them with our students in order to give them a great background and to teach them new things.
It's so funny that in one of the classes, a student asked me, why do I teach? So I said, because this is the best place where I learn from. He said, from teaching you learn? I said, yeah. I learn from all of you,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like if two people are going to have a dialogue, the guy with the bigger sponge is going to soak more than the guy with the little sponge. So my students have little sponges, But I come into the classroom with a big sponge because of the experience and the life I've had. And when the dialogue starts with the students and me, guess who's soaking it all up is me. They don't realize that,
That's right.
Yeah. But I'm the one who's soaking the most out of it.
Yeah.
So I learn the most from my classes, then they learn from me,
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, Steffi, to answer your question,
Yeah.
this report that came out recommends that the key is taking small breaks from your daily life.
Okay.
Okay? So you smell the roses, they smell great. If you take a little bit of a break and everything and you go out and do something and come back inside, you get the scent of the roses
I
again.
gotta tell you this. So after teaching so many years as a professor myself, so when I go to this OPM program, so Dr. Barnes was my favorite professor, and he said two things when he walked in. So they're both humorous. One of them is definitely humorous. So he walks in and says, "Good morning, pigs." And most of us kind of felt a little offended,
Yeah.
He's calling us pigs. He said, don't get upset. I'm going to tell you why I'm calling you pigs. He said, years ago there was a pig and a chicken, and they were good friends. They went out for a morning walk on Sundays together. And this morning they come out and they see this restaurant. It's an opening day for it, and they have a special for the opening day, which is called ham and eggs. So chicken starts dancing, and he said, well, I'm making a contribution to the special, it's his eggs, So looks at the pig, and pig is all pretty sad and depressed and in himself, and said, what's wrong with you? Your name is up there too. You say, yeah. You make a contribution. I got to make a full commitment. So the moral of the story, him calling us pigs, was that the people in the class were all pigs. And our chickens were working in our companies, doing things. The second thing he said was just amazed me how deep the meaning was. He said, you all need to learn to go to the balcony. Now, what is the balcony? Balcony is where you go to get some fresh air. What you were talking about just a minute ago.
Yes.
Take a break from
Taking a break from the daily. Yes.
Absolutely. Because, I used to design, one of my applied design classes, I used to do a project with my students called Executive Toy. Now, would either one of you know what the executive toy would be?
I have no idea.
So this toy, and the definition of this toy was, so when you have executives of a company, they generally are dealing with a lot of stress, and often they have what's called brain freeze.
Okay.
So the brain goes into freeze. It just gets paralyzed, frozen. And it's like you look at him and say, oh my God, there's something wrong. Something wrong and gone, because this guy looks like a zombie, all of a sudden. So this brain freeze is the sign of very high level of stress. So when they see, and generally executives have a little executive toy sitting on their desk, and they pick this toy up and start fiddling with it. So what does this toy do? It gives them a break from what they were frozen with.
Sure.
Or it allows them to go to the balcony, or allows them to do what you were saying, to take a break from what they were doing. So we always need this break. Go to the balcony, get some fresh air, to just break away from what you're doing and re-smell the flowers. You go out and come back and say, oh my God, I didn't realize these roses smell so beautiful, because habituation makes you stop realizing something which is part of your neurons,
Yeah.
It's a very interesting topic today you brought up.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
So another example they gave you two was, let's say you take a holiday and you're gone for a week or so, and then you come back to your house and it's like, oh, there's my favorite couch, or
Right.
you know,
You
and
start
that's another way.
recognizing the positiveness in
Exactly.
everything. Yeah.
Exactly. One of the examples that this opinion piece gave was they quoted the actress Jodie Foster,
Uh-huh.
and I guess you could say this for any actor or actress that's away on a movie shoot or something. Like if you're there for 6 months and you come back home and it's like, I came back from somewhere that is amazing and beautiful, she said, but you know, you long for really dumb things that you're used to. Right now, I'm like, my God, avocados are amazing, or I'm glad I get to go to my gym again.
Oh.
Things like that dehabituate you, and that you're back into your surroundings again. So, and the other term they used was to re-sparkle. So your home, you feel re-sparkled again because you're there, or if you're away from a loved one because you're on a business trip. Research has shown, a 2007 study of 237 individuals showed that when people spend more time apart from their partner, they report greater sexual interest in them. So, but another way.
Now, I have to say this. From what you just said,
Yes.
is something called breakup sex.
Yeah.
After a couple breaks up and they fight, then they come
Right.
back together.
Right. Yeah. Make up sex. Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's so
Oh,
interesting how humans are.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. But this was interesting also. This couples therapist, Esther Perel, she asked people to describe an incident when they were most drawn to their partner. And most people mentioned two general situations. First, they were especially drawn to their spouse when they felt unfamiliar and unknown. For example, when they saw their partner from a distance or when they observed them in deep conversation with strangers. And as I mentioned, second, they were especially drawn to their spouse when they were away and then when they reunited and everything. But interestingly, another option for getting away, if you will, is simply just closing your eyes, imagining your life, but without your home, without your job, without your family, and create vivid images with color and detail. And this small act might make you feel lucky about what you have.
Right.
Would that be like manifesting what you don't have? You
Yes,
can-
well, he's talking about manifesting what you have.
What you have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like
Okay.
reimagining.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes you forget.
Yeah.
It's like going back to the blessing that we
Oh,
are so
okay.
blessed, but we forget that we are blessed.
Yeah, I understand.
So yeah, that is the deal. The bottom line, their conclusion says you have to create a delicate balance, as we all know. And once again, as I said, I think Joy Score really helps people with that balance in their lives.
And the way you described is nice because we need to learn to dehabituate
Yeah.
Yes.
because that brings us back to appreciate what you have
Yeah.
because you get used to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when life is good, you take it for granted. And then something bad happens, and then you realize that how much you appreciate. Like, for instance, one of the things I realize happens to most of us where we are healthy and we forget what a blessing it is to be healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then something goes wrong, or you have a little cold or something, and you say, my God, it's so good to be healthy and without any problems,
Yeah. When you have a blocked nose and you just
Yeah.
like, oh, I miss smelling, being able to just smell so much.
I mean, you kind of, just a small, like she's talking about breathing, be able to smell, like Matt Cullen, our friend.
Yes.
So I kind of do my breathing in steam room, and we end up many times around the same time in the steam room. So he one day asked me, what is that you do? I said, well, this is called breathing yoga, pranayam, He said, can you teach me? I said, yeah, if you read my book. He ordered and read it, and then I taught him. And I realized that he did not know how to breathe from his nose.
wow.
I said, you don't know how to do that? He said, no.
So he was a mouth breather.
Yeah.
breather.
And he when he learned this, and then I taught him this, and in the book, there's a chapter on breathing, I talk about the alternate breathing, left and right, and it balances it because we generally are mostly open on one side and not on the other, and it allows you to learn how to balance it. And once you learn that, it's so fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is great. Well, that is the end of our episode for today. We are hoping next week to have our guest, who is the CEO and founder of the nonprofit called Calibrate, Marcy Gilbert. And it deals with social emotional learning, especially with people from African slavery. She goes to the areas of Los Angeles County and goes into classrooms and helps students to have better self-esteem, which is something that we talk about
Amazing.
a lot
Yeah.
on
So
this podcast.
you're saying people still suffer from that?
Yes,
They do, huh?
they do.
Okay.
And so I think she will bring some very interesting
That
perspective
sounds fascinating.
that
yeah.
aligns very closely
Yeah.
with what we do with Joy Score.
In fact,
Wonderful.
I love that topic because
Well, we know how important self-esteem is
Yeah.
and what it does with obesity and depression. I mean,
absolutely.
things
That-
that we
that is
know.
the root of every problem we have in our life. Lack of self-esteem.
Exactly. And so I think we'll have some great questions to ask her,
Very nice.
and she's going to have some, I think, some drills to share with us, Professor Joy, that
Beautiful.
will have some
Amazing.
interest in our
Very
I'm
lives.
excited.
So
Thank
thanks
you.
everybody for watching. We'd love to hear your comments. Please let us know what you think. If you have topic ideas for us, we'd love to hear those as well. So have a great week, and we'll see you next
Can I
time.
leave
Oh,
you with
yes.
a plug?
Please
Keep smiling.
keep hugging.
Keep hugging. Hugging and smiling.
Absolutely.
Those two things can change your life.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.